Hello, everybody. I'm pulling up my phone so I could be sure you all can hear me because my volume has been weird. Okay, let me see. Okay, let me see. All right, I got it. Okay, the volume works. How are y'all doing today? How are y'all doing today? Really quickly, I wanted to come on and talk about a conversation that I was having with someone yesterday. So there's an actress. Her name is I forget what her name is, but she was just in the news a couple days ago. Thoughty or something like that. But she is biracial. Her mom's black and her dad's white, I believe. And she came on. It was kind of weird. She was apologizing for, being who she is. She was apologizing for, being chosen for roles and for men choosing her over other, dark-skinned women. And she was crying and everything. She sounded really sincere, but it was kind of weird. Okay. And I say that because apologizing for something that you have no control over is, I'm not sure why, what compelled her to do that, but that actually started a conversation with one of my friends. Okay. And initially, I don't know if you all have seen Lord of the Flies. We had to read that book in middle school. And I also watched the movie. We watched the movie first. I loved it. I absolutely loved it, Lord of the Flies. If you don't know what it is, go look it up. It's really, really good. It's just about a bunch of kids get stranded on an island and they have to govern themselves. Okay. And it turns into a whole debacle. All right. I mean, they set up their rules. They set up their laws. One little boy, I believe he actually gets killed. They actually kill him. And, it's just a whole thing. But it's this whole story. I was telling him yesterday when I was talking about this, it's like what's going on here. I said, it's almost like we're a bunch, because we started talking about her apologizing and bias and things like that, right? And it's like we're a bunch of kids with no adult supervision. The world is the Lord of the Flies. All right. Pretty much, if you just look at it, right? Like there's just nobody here, so we just making up our own shit because we don't have somebody to tell us what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of like what we were talking about yesterday. And the reason that I titled it this way is because you would think that to discover that life doesn't care would be like a really depressing thing, like a really, really depressing thing. And it can be, it absolutely can be, if you have in your psyche that it does, or it should, or it can, I heard one of the saddest things I've ever heard the other day. And that is I think Miss USA, the young lady who just committed suicide last week or a couple weeks ago. She had written something where she said, "I'm running out of time to matter. I'm running out of time to matter." And if that statement didn't resonate, okay, with what my whole life was like, up until my 30s and all this happened, there was such a sense of urgency, and I've said this in another video. It was like, I had to hurry up. Time, look, girl, time is running out. You're in your 30s now. 40 is going to be here like that. then 50, then 60, then, somebody's going to be feeding you and taking you to the bathroom. Time is running out. That hearing how she felt, hearing that statement, I'm running out of time to matter. I feel like so many of us actually feel that way. We may not say those words, but we feel that way. Like a friend of mine was here the other day, saying, I feel like I haven't done anything with my life. I told my supervisor that before I left my HR job. I'm looking at my resume. It was 2 pages. It had a bunch of wonderful things on there. But I told her, I was like, I feel like I haven't done anything. Like nothing. All these years, where have I mattered? And seeing that I don't matter. I mean, nobody cares. I told y'all how upset I was. I mean, livid. You hear me? Livid. Have you ever been livid? I mean, that upset when I discovered that nobody sees me, hears me, or even knows who I am. Talk about mad. I mean, just, and I feel like seeing that caused, like, I didn't have, like, I guess, a clinical depression or anything, but I remember telling one of my sisters, we were outside going to have lunch at Ruby Tuesdays. I remember this day. It was gorgeous. Y'all know how those early fall days are? Like the leaves are just beginning to change. The temperature is perfect, okay? The sky is the bluest blue that it can get. It was one of those days, And I'm in the parking lot. We're waiting on somebody. And I told my sister, I said, today is such a beautiful day. But I feel like I can't even enjoy it. Like I can't see it, because because having seen and felt that nobody knows Cheryl. Like nobody, there is no God who sees everything that I do. Or even care. Like, life doesn't care about you. Okay. Does not care at all. Like the story that I wrote about Lost in Space, and how I talked about the space. Like I looked at an old picture that somebody took of me in the early 80s. And that space where the picture was taken, like there was a car and there were other people there. There was cement. There was a building. If I go back there today, all that stuff it's either not there anymore or it's clearly old and crumbled, except for the space. The space is brand new. I mean, in every moment, it's as 100, it's pristine, brand new, brand new. Which fascinated me. Like, why doesn't the space? My mic keeps going out. Everything is always fresh and pristine and brand new, meaning life doesn't care. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it is kind of weird, but so somebody told me, so my first blog, the Cheryl Abram one that I had to delete because I got hacked, right? That one was called Life, It Really Is a Stage. That's what I called it. Life, It Really Is a Stage. And I called it that because the stage doesn't care. Does the stage care what the actors are doing, who they are, even if acting is happening? Okay, like anything can go on, anything can go on, in this space, you know what I mean? And so that's why I called my blog post that, because I was realizing that, I was realizing that, and it was sad. It was sad because I was coming from a place where I believed that somebody cared. Like the Lord cares. He wants rightness and everything, to be good, and he's about good and not doing all that. I had all that stuff in place, okay? And to go from that to absolutely like there's nothing there, was traumatizing. Actually, it was quite traumatizing. And I, but getting to the point to where I could see life doesn't care what the Bible says. It doesn't. And that is evident. Like, life does not care what the Bible says, or the Quran, or what the hell is that other thing? What's that book? The Ad-Bagita, something like that. Like whatever this non-dual books and all that stuff. Nobody care. I mean, life don't care about none of that. None of that. Okay. And which takes me to why I posted a video here. I actually posted that same video on all three of my channels because, dealing with my how spiritual awakening impacted my work, like my 9-to-5 job. Okay. Because what I was able to see in that transition from where I was, my 9-to-5, to what I'm doing right now, is that I did not have to buy into all the limits, and discovering that was really something that I had to share, when I, and I'm happy that I did, because a lot of people have commented on that, because they were thinking in their minds, in order for me to get from A to B, I have to have this and I have to have that, and I got to go here and I got to train there, and I got to spend this much money, and I have to know this person, and I have to do this thing, and my resume got to look like that. And there are myths all over the place. When I used to be like super active on Facebook, in all these non-duality groups, I was seeing all this talk about masters, and I'm like, I ain't got, like, is that something I need? Like, who, like, what is, like, I didn't have, because everything I was hearing was like, you have a master and they do what masters do and pass stuff down to you or something. I don't know how all that works, but and then I started thinking, well, I didn't have one. So, like, does that mean nothing happened? Or, which I clearly knew wasn't true, so one of us lying. Okay. Well, because I did ask the explicit question, do you have to have a master, to experience what it is you guys are talking about? And the answer I got was yes. Yes. Which is clearly not true. Clearly. I didn't know squat about anything. I'd never even heard the word non-dual or Marashahari, all these people. I know none of that. All I knew was Bible. That's it. That's all. And that's all I wanted to know. I told you guys, like, my goal back then was to be a better Christian. Forget all that other stuff. Because I knew Christianity was right. Jesus was the only way. The only way. I don't care what the hell you said, what you told me your experience was. I didn't care. Because I knew the truth. Okay? Jesus Christ was the only. Why? Because the Bible said it. That's how I knew. And if you didn't believe that, I feel real sorry for you after you die. Okay? There was no changing my mind. None. There was no changing my mind. So I wasn't seeking for nothing other than to be a better Christian. Okay, that's it. All right. But I was tired of trying. Okay, I was exhausted. I was really tired. So which made me tell the truth, and then y'all know the story. But knowing that the limits don't apply. They don't have to apply. Now, if you want the limits to apply, if you are a man, okay, and you want the limits of man to apply, then go ahead. If you're a woman, same thing. If you're 5'5" and you want the limits of, if you don't have a degree, you know, all of that, just pick a label. If you want the limits to apply, then go ahead and let them apply, but they don't have to, you know. And the feeling of someone or something, I mean, the most gentle, I don't even know what to call it. Like if somebody tells you that you're wrong about something, the most gentle way to hear that or to get that, you know. I mean, and it's said or it's expressed in such a way that you're just giddy with happiness, you know. And you wouldn't think that would be the case if somebody's telling you you're wrong about something, right? But it is. It was. You know. So imagine someone saying, you know, life doesn't care about you, and you just being giddy and happy about that. Imagine, you know, imagine nobody sees you, nobody knows you, and you're just as bubbly and giggling and, you know, to hear that. You know what I mean? Like that's what it was. That's absolutely what it was. And it was amazing. Because this is what it does, right? What it does is free you to, it frees you to be whatever, you know. And if the stage doesn't care, you know, what if you're on the stage or not, like whatever, you know, it's just whatever. Okay. The trust that's involved in that, you know, the trust that's involved, the love that's involved in not caring, you know. Like, can you see that? Can you feel that? How much love does there need to be for life doesn't care, you know? And we see, you know, we get into our Lord of the Flies mode, you know, and we see all the terrible, horrible, you know, things we do against all the wonderful, amazing things we do. And in both cases, life doesn't care how altruistic it is. I mean, you're dying for people. Life doesn't care, you know. You're harming people. Life doesn't care. Okay? It doesn't care. Now, when you're doing it, okay, when you feel somebody's looking at you, and that's why we do it, right? When we want someone to notice. So I said on here, in one of these videos, that we want three things. Well, three things that leads to one ultimate thing, okay? We want to be seen, heard, and known. Why? Because we're looking for a response. We're looking for life to respond. But it's not. It won't. It can't. It won't. Okay? We're looking for a response. You want all the space around us, we're looking for it to respond some kind of way. You know, and which is why we do the things we do. Think about the things we do on a daily basis, right? Seen, heard, and known, so we can get a response. In that research that the doctor did with the still face, the still face experiment, right? When the mom was there with her baby, well, the child was like 1 or 2 or something like that, right? And the doctor told the mom, okay, go ahead and play with the baby like you normally do. So she's playing with the baby, she's interacting, she's smiling. You know how babies are, they're playing with mommy and pointing and, their baby talk and all that, okay? So she's doing that. And then the doctor tells her, okay, now I want you to take a still face. So she did like this. And she stopped. There were no expressions at all. She wasn't smiling. She wasn't frowning. She was just there, just looking at the baby. No matter what the baby did, mom did not respond. The baby laughed. There was no expression. The baby started crying. Nothing. Now the baby, seeing that a minute ago, mom was responding. When I smiled, she smiled. When I pointed, she looked where I was pointing. Mom was responding. But now, she's still there. I see she's there. She's in front of my face. The mom didn't go anywhere. She was still there. But because she wasn't responding, it was like she wasn't. The baby started yelling. Just got so agitated. It was like mom wasn't even there, even though she was clearly there. She didn't go nowhere. Okay? That's what we're doing over here. We're not getting a response. So we're acting up. Okay? Listen, we're doing everything we can think of. Everything we can think of to get a response. Okay? But it ain't none coming. So we're going to we're just going to keep at it. All right? Until we realize that responses aren't necessary. Okay? Like us, or we don't need a response. But when you look at that experiment, you see humanity in that thing. Okay? You see that. Even when we look in the mirror, we get a response. If you push whatever's next to you now, you get a response. It ain't got to be a person you're getting a response from. You know what I mean? And I said, like, imagine you pushing something and it don't move. Or you trying to pick up a glass and you can't pick it up. You would think that you were a ghost or something, right? Like you think you weren't even like here or what. Response is what we crave, like what we really, really want, but we're not getting it. We're not getting it. So we're doing a whole bunch of stuff to distract ourselves, to pretend like we are, all the things. My mic keeps going off. I don't know why. But that's what's going on. Okay. But life doesn't care. And that is the most freeing thing. It really does. Doesn't care. Does not respond. It will not. Cannot. Is not. Like however you want to do it. Which leaves so much room for us to just do something different. To just do something different. As much as we try to solidify things, be they laws and rules and all that. I know a huge theme, from where I came from the religion I came from, was being permanent, not changing, like a rock. We got songs about that, being unchanging. God's unchanging hand. That was one of the songs that we sang, having something solidified and just there. How I said belief is where ideas go to die. the belief is like solid for us. It can't change, you know, which is how I said, like in the beginning, I didn't even know I could. I had no idea that I could actually not believe this thing, you know. I did not think that was even an option. You know, it was so, I don't know, like inherent. And I still don't know how I'm even on here talking to y'all on a channel called Life Without a Witness. You know, because I never would have imagined myself ever not believing what I believed. Never. Absolutely. I mean, never. Not because I didn't want to believe it, but just because I didn't think it was possible not to. I had no idea that it was possible to change my mind, you know? Yeah. And it is. So, life doesn't care. That's good news. It's good news. All right. I had to grow into that. All right. Because hearing it, and no person told, and I get this, nobody told me that. All right. Seeing that life doesn't care was depressing as hell. Absolutely. I can't even describe it. Okay. And it took me a minute to come out of there. To come out of that depression. Like it really did. It really did. But it's all good though. It is. It's all good. All right, y'all. I just wanted to come on for a little bit to talk at you on camera. I know I've been cleaning in the kitchen and sweeping floors and doing all this stuff while I'm talking to y'all. So thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. And I will see you back here next time. Okay? Have a good night. Bye, y'all.